the best month ever keeps rolling. Best month ever. It's my birthday month. Hello, it's Flobo Boys. You're listening to Draped in Gold, across the ring and across the pond. Your one-stop shop for black and gold brand action. Although last week I learned that the NXTUK brand is red and black, but that's a whole other issue entirely. But as always, I am not alone. I'm being joined by Championship Wrestling from Hollywood correspondent and Wrestling Inc. contributor, Real Jack Farmer. How's it going, sir?
The red and black, that's the Wolfpack colors, baby.
I know!
But is it? I mean, you can't use red. That's Raw's color. You got to use like purple.
That's what Nigel said. That's 205 Live.
Yeah, it's true. I was going to say purple and gold is very royal. That seems like UK perfect. But
I like it.
I don't know, green. It's got to be green and something. I don't know.
The Velocity brand. Joaquin, mi gente.
I guess, yeah, mi gente. No, I think there's got to be a color they haven't used yet somewhere. The yellow and gold. Does that count?
Yellow and gold? Like our background? It's like, it's blue. Well, yeah, exactly. That's why we're not in the idea department at all. But enough about ideas. NXT UK just finished, guess kind of sort of live. I mean, for Peacock, it's uploaded and it's been taped weeks in advance, but it was still cool. Hardcore action up and down the bottom of the card. But let's start with our main event. Jenny and Joseph Connor, who is apparently really, really worthy, taking on 2/3 of Subculture. And well, the match didn't disappoint. But who was ringside but your boys? Yes, boy. Pretty deadly. Thoughts?
Yes, boy. Side plate check. You know, there was a lot to like about this main event, but you nailed it. The best part about it, Pretty Deadly sitting at the announce table, looking like some suave, smart, stately gentlemen. Great feedback, great commentary as well. They're not just really good dressed. They're not just handsome fellas. They're also incredibly intelligent and well-spoken. I think we all learned a lot having them at ringside, and they made a good point. They are holding on to those titles 3 times longer than some other folks have been able to hold on to them.
Ooh, well, I am not the biggest fan of mixed tag matches, not for what it is, but for the frequency of them. Either I feel we should have more of them or not at all. But when we do have them, it's always a treat. I hope there's more of them. And Lamb and I have very similar sentiments. Danny Luna, my word. I mean, talk about hurting bombs in the ring. That alone is telling me I want to see her more every week.
She's so strong. She's so powerful. You can just see her throwing people around. I think that, yeah, she hits hard. I think she's got a very good future in that division. And if I'm someone like Meiko Satomura, I'm trying to find ways to avoid Danny Luna. I'm, just like Clubber Lang in the Rocky movies. You avoid him. You don't get into the ring with him. You don't have the match with him. I think that's what Meiko Satomura has got to be doing to stay away from Danny Luna, because Danny Luna, she's going to wreck you if she gets the chance to.
A little off topic here, but you mentioned that Meiko Satomura is a new women's champion, and there seems to be a lot of things swirling around. That Ava Valkyrie probably wants a piece, Danny Luna, Ginny herself. I mean, I'm not sure what Piper Niven is doing. I don't know if you could call her Piper Niven anymore. I mean, Meiko Satomura has a whole new plane to her to work with. Thoughts about that?
I think it's great. It totally freshened up a division that was filled with competitors that had been turned away because they'd lost matches. But now matchups make fights, and now it's a different matchup. Now things are different. Now people like Valkyrie that had an opportunity, or actually Valkyrie never had an opportunity, did she?
No, she
didn't. I was gonna say the people who have had opportunities that maybe didn't succeed, now suddenly they can have another opportunity, and it's another interesting match, and you don't know how it's going to play out. Kaylee Ray, being so good for so long, had kind of emptied out the division, but now it's packed full with contenders, and I think that Meiko is going to be a very busy person over 2021 defending that title.
I'm here for it, man. And not to mention, or not to be outdone, Joseph Connor seems to be doing a lot of the heavy work for Ginny there. Maybe it's to Ginny's advantage. But if you're Joseph Connor, the question I have is, after a while, you got to be like, why am I the guy getting beat up all the time? What gives?
Why am I the guy? Flobo, let's rewind it just a little bit and take a look back in just a few months ago to the Heritage Cup Championship when he was sitting there saying, I am worthy. Now look at him. He's looking strong. He's looking big. He's dressed well. He's in the main event. Ginny has done amazing things for him with her ability to style him and present him and give him that confidence that he needs to be able to carry himself to that next level. Sigh and roll your eyes, baby, but tell me I'm wrong.
For those of you in the audio version, I am sighing so hard off microphone. Yes, I will sigh. I mean, it wasn't like Ginny had a 3 CD set. That's right. I'm so old I mentioned CDs. All right. Joseph Connor's had the tools. You know, he could have got his own place eventually. I'm not saying that Ginny gave him all of that, but my question still stands, Jack. He's the guy taking most of the blows today.
That's because he's a hardworking, great fighter. That's what you do. You get out there and you get those reps. You get that time in. Ginny's got him set up for massive success. Without Ginny, I feel like maybe Joseph Connors is just in the backstage area, not getting these opportunities. But now, again, it's about presentation. It's more than just being a good wrestler. Everyone's a good wrestler. You got to have the look. You got to have the style, the panache. And that's what Ginny gave him. And now, suddenly, I'm not looking at a guy who may or may not be worthy, but someone who now could be the guy, could do some amazing things. I think Joseph Connors, he's someone to keep an eye on. Big things are coming because now he is a total package. I'm all aboard the Connors Express.
What's crazy is that everything you said about Joseph Connor has helped me out in my transition because Jordan Devlin is a guy who's backstage making it happen with a dope style, made it on the Supernova sessions, and has a little bit of a stare down with that dastardly A-Kid just hanging out in his dressing room. Seems that even though you may be a star, there's people out to undermine your authority.
Jordan Devlin is the future of this brand, just in every way, shape, or form. As I've said, if I'm Walter, right now, Jordan Devlin is the guy I'm most worried about. Right now, Jordan Devlin, again, he has the style as well, but he also he's getting everything he wants. He's getting the big locker room. He's getting the Mustang out front. He's getting the Supernova session spot, which, by the way, also getting that exclusive time spot in the Supernova sessions, something no other star has ever been able to do, but he got it. And then, of course, you have these guys like A-Kid just trying to be a little punk jerk, not respecting locker rooms. Could you imagine you have your own locker room and then some little ingrate breaks in there and starts drinking your Broster's coffee? That just makes me sick that someone would do that. And then he's just so disrespectful. And by the way, good on Jordan Devlin for handling it the right way. He could have picked a big old fight and wrecked his own locker room in the process, but he said, no, I'm going to go tell the boss. I'm going to have him kick you out of here. And you could see it in A-Kid's eyes. He tried to look cool, but he was a little bit like, oh, yeah, I'm about to get kicked out of here. You knew he knew. You knew he knew.
I have to side with Devlin here, man. If you went to all this trouble to get your own locker room and you have the guy in there sipping, you know how much Broster's coffee costs? It's not cheap, bro. Like, of course I'd be upset if I were him.
Yeah, especially to get shipped out to Europe. I mean, it's more than the Mustang.
Yeah, man, no vehicles, but we can get you some Broster's coffee. Sold. But that's
I was a little miffed that he took a shot at America, but then he's still driving around in that American muscle.
It's funny because he was like, America sucks. And now I'm like, I respectfully decline. 5 years ago, I'm like, no, we don't. But it's like, well, we've been through some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand. Yes. That's terrible.
Yeah, we all have
we're going through some things.
Yeah,
man.
we are a little bit like,
we're working on things,
our best,
right?
but we're coming back. We're trying.
Bonus points for Noam Dar calling him Santa Claus Escobum. That made my Santa Claus.
That was a spit take session or moment, by the way, when he called him Santa Claus Escobum.
You got to buy a shirt because I bought the last one for Leon Ruff. So it's up to you, Jack. Do it for both of us.
Okay. Noam Dar shirt on its way, brand new. Will I get the frame though? That's the question.
Don't worry, Jack. You're the man with all the asterisks, so I gave you one out.
Okay.
We got to move on to other kind of scumbags. Kenny Williams is a scumbag, and he showed why he was in a match against Danny Jones. And well, I can say on paper, it seemed that Kenny Williams had the advantage, and it showed out. But this new attitude, is the sky the limit for the guy?
Yeah, I don't want you jumping on the Kenny Williams bandwagon. You're not allowed. You're not invited, because when he was having his rivalry with Amir Jordan, you sat there and you shook your finger at him and tried to tell him what to do. But now that Now look at it. When was the last time you even questioned whether or not this guy's going to win his match? Every time he comes out there, you're like, this is Kenny Williams' match to win. He's won every single match he's been in since he quit pretending to be somebody he's not. And he had a line, by the way, earlier in the show. He says, when the world thinks you're a scumbag, you don't have to pretend you're not anymore. And that is some Guy Ritchie movies lines there. What a great moment. I loved it. I love where he's going. You're right. I'd say the sky's the limit, but the sky might not be high enough for Kenny Williams.
I do not want that bandwagon. Nope, I'm good. I'm totally fine. That bandwagon will pass me by. I'd rather walk. That's the way I feel about things. I mean, Jordan will get his revenge. I swear it.
You're going to be walking all by yourself, cold in that European snow. Walking, wishing you jumped on the bandwagon.
It's just imported snow in Los Angeles. It sucks.
Yeah, I live in LA. I don't know what snow is. Is that how it works?
I have no idea. It is like falls like horizontal across the pond and onto my face.
Yeah.
Lamb says that side headlock driver though was pretty solid. It reminded me of Bailey's Rose Plant. Not trying to compare the two, just saying it's pretty solid.
Well, you'd agree that Kenny Williams is doing some amazing things to get better, right?
Yes, he's improved.
There you go. Stay off the bandwagon. I don't want to hear you say good things about Kenny Williams.
That is the most beige way of saying it, though. Like, he is okay. Boo! Hater.
Not invited. Get off the bandwagon.
Fine, Jack. We got to move on, though, to the top of the show. Wolfgang of Gallus had a match against Sam Gradwell. The loudmouth Sam Gradwell opened the whole show with a promo that cut Wolfgang pretty deep, but he was on losing end of the contest. And while we're talking about this before we went live, Sam Gradwell, his win-loss record's kind of spotty, but is always a threat, always a good time. Thoughts?
Sam Gradwell, every time he gets on the mic, is just poetic. I love it every time he talks. Not this little piggy, not my little, I'm going to have the hair on my chinny chin chin. It was just amazing. And when he shoves him off the turnbuckle, he's like, that's real inconvenient. I loved it.
Yeah.
He's so entertaining. Sam Gradwell, really one of the MVPs of the entire NXT UK brand. Putting in work really almost more than anyone, I think. I don't keep track of exactly how often guys are out there, but he's out there almost every episode, and he's having tough matches. And you're right, doesn't win all the time, but at one point we got to start giving this guy credit for being a body guy, just how built he is, how well he looks, how good he is on the microphone. He can hang with any single person, but today, man, we got to tip the hat to Wolfgang with that flip over the top rope spear, though it was kind of a gore if you ask me, but they called it a spear, so we'll call it a spear. And he gets the win. Gallus Boy's on top, but the question is he the top Gallus Boy?
Ooh, well, first things first, it was a gore because it was a spear into a takedown. That's a big difference, huge difference. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Joe Coffey's out there doing evil table for three promos. I mean, Wolfgang is the heavy, the Alexander Wolf in his prime, a member of Imperium in that group, to say the least.
I gotta say that if I am Joe Coffey, he might find himself regretting being distracted right now, because for right now, things seem fine and good right now. Everyone's just having a good time, picking fights, doing what Gallus does. But I don't know, when I see groups do these competitive things with each other, it rarely ends well, Flobo.
Good to know. Even though Mark Coffey seems to be getting himself involved too, right? Having backstage promos, interactions with Shaw Samuels. Look, Gals is pretty much taking their time just picking apart each member of the roster here at NXT UK.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're competing. They want to see who the top Gallus Boy is. And so they're seeing who they can beat and how they can beat them. And a win over Gradwell is big, but now can Mark get a win over Shaw Samuels? I don't know. At this point, eventually one of them is going to prove to be the better of the two. And like I said, this is pro wrestling. And when you've got an ego like the guys in Gallus, I can't imagine losing that bet and taking it lying down. I have to imagine at some point, this is going to lead to those two having a match of their own. And again, it's few and far between two guys can have a match and still be best friends after. That's why you and I never have a match. The one reason.
Yeah, it's really those little spa matches. We'll never be the same after that.
Yes.
Before
they change you, Flobo.
They do. I feel so relaxed, the range of motion. Before we get out of the NXT UK universe, I want to ask a question about Jack Stars, who's out there training with Tyler Bate, but got kind of offered a Heritage Cup title, but just said it wasn't ready, I wasn't worthy yet. And even Dave Mastiff, a guy who wants his own opportunities, like, boy, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
I would say in life, when you have an opportunity, you got to take it. You take it every single time. What's up, Adam? But you got to take it every single time. You never turn down these opportunities because you never know when you're going to get another one. It's something that always drives me nuts whenever I see, like in sports, when someone loses the big game, they'll say, well, we always got next year. And I think, you don't know if you got next year. You don't know if you get another shot. You don't know, Jack Stars. You don't know if you're going to get an opportunity at the Heritage Cup again. You think you do. You're young. You're talented. Sure, possibly, but you never know. And so you never turn down an opportunity when it presents itself to you. And Jack Stars may find himself really regretting that one.
Yeah, something I learned way back in my radio days where I was a hippity hop DJ and I had to cover the afternoon jazz wave at my college radio station. And my station manager was like, Flobito, we need you. And I was like, jazz? I don't know. He goes, you never turn down airtime. So now I'm as shameless as Jack Farmer, y'all. Never turn it down.
Never turn down an opportunity.
You just totally agree with the fact you're shameless. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to NXT Prime before we do. This past Sunday was NXT In Your House 2021. And, well, it happened. It was a serviceable good time, in my opinion. I enjoyed it. I wasn't blown away by it. It's okay for me to dissent you. I'm not being a hater or anything, but I want to see your thoughts about the pay-per-view. In Your House 2021, Todd Pettengill in the rafters having a good time.
I loved the show. I thought it was amazing. I thought it had something for everybody. And, in a lot of ways, we'll talk about it probably as we talk about NXT. But the thing I really liked the most about the show, and I had the opportunity to chat with a good friend of mine, James Kincaid, also a voice of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, on his Wrestling War Room show. It had something for everybody, is what I liked. If you liked the fast-paced, high-action world of the six-man tag match, you got that. If you liked the more comic book style, Lucha Underground style of wrestling, you got that with Mercedes versus Xia Li. Yeah. If you like the kind of more fun entertainment level, Attitude Era kind of vibe, you had that with the ladder match. If you want to have, the hard hitting NXT as we know it style, well, you got that also with the main event. Also, you had Ember Moon and Raquel Gonzalez in there. I thought it had everything you could want. If we talk about wrestling as a variety show, NXT In Your House was the perfect example of giving you a variety of pro wrestling.
Before I pile onto that, Lamb had asked, he said, do we talk about Rohan Raja with Nathan Frazier yet? And the answer is no. And the reason why, we'll talk about it now real quick, because I saw that matchup. I said, I love Nathan Frazier. I love Rohan Raja, but I'm just confused. And I guess I maybe robbed you of an opportunity to say a couple words about this matchup here, Jack. I had so much more questions than answers. I didn't know if you had a take on this one.
I see why we skipped over it. It was a great match. As a wrestling match, it was amazing. I think there were two guys that we're going to be seeing a lot more of. But to your point, that's kind of that sums it up. It was a great match. I think both of them looked great. I think Nathan Frazier is going to have a lot of good stuff happening to him very soon. I think Rohan, it was great to see him back in the ring. It was great to see him, doing some more wrestling. I think he's got something going on here, but I don't think we know enough yet to have anything more than just pat on the back.
Yeah, pat on the back, feather in the cap. Hopefully more for Nathan Frazier. In Your House, to me, was pretty solid. I wasn't blown away. Like I said, we got to talk about Tuesday night, because Tuesday night changed the entire landscape for the black and gold brand. William Regal came out, looked like he was going to retire, said the word took us a whole lot. But it turns out that he's not retiring at all. He has an enforcer, and his name is Joe. Samoa Joe instantly getting involved and put his fingerprints on the entire festivities. Jack, what?
This was one of the best weekly wrestling shows I have seen in a very long time across all WWE brands. This was done so well. This episode felt again like a Attitude Era show in the sense that you've got these big shocking moments. You've got this big stuff happening. There's a story playing out throughout the entire episode. You want to see what happens next. You want to see where things are going. It was such a good show, and so much stuff happened that was so well executed and so well done. It also felt very much to me like I don't want to say a reboot, but like a season premiere, like a new season where we have all the characters we know, but so much feels like now everything that we've done is in the past and it's all new stuff going forward. A few things from that takeaway from that intro, though, that opening promo. One, William Regal is so good on the microphone. He is so good at what he does and explains why he's been there for so long, even though he let the whole place get a little out of control, if you ask me. But
of course, no one did though.
But also, we have said many, many times we don't know how we're supposed to feel about Cross. And I think now we know, because he's always this tough, mean guy, but he's so cool with his entrance. Do I cheer him? Do I boo him? He went after William Regal. And I don't think there is anything more you can do in NXT to be someone we're not supposed to love than go after William Regal. But the big thing here, Flobo, Joe comes out. We all jump up off of our seats. We're all cheering Joe, 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 Joe. One, for as big of a star as those guys were in the ring, it was an entire mood shift when Samoa Joe came out. The entire vibe was different, and it was incredible to me. The thing that I was left with, just in awe, with my mouth hanging agape, that I couldn't believe we just saw it, is, as Karrion Kross said, he punched a hole through the Mount Rushmore of NXT. He's beaten everybody. No one's pinned him. Has the most dominating looking entrance of all time in NXT. He beats everybody. Never looks weak in a single moment. Joe walks out and the crowd is chanting, "Joe is gonna kill you." Joe is such a force that no matter what Karrion Kross has done in his career or in NXT specifically, Joe walking out still gets everyone to say, "Joe is gonna kill you." And that to me just blew my mind.
Man, that was a promo, Jack. I wish I had put you on solo for that one. A lot to unpack there, what you said. On Takeover in Your House, people ask me, did the right guy win? I say no, but Kross had to retain for that reason, because I do feel like as a champion, Kross has not impressed me as a champion at all. And the problems I have with them are persisting here. I can't tell he's supposed to be a supernatural demon with the smoke. Is he a biker dude with Scarlet? He came out in a suit and tie on Tuesday. And poor William Regal is about to retire, crying, as Cabello says, Emmy Award. If the WWE gets the Emmy, it should be for Roman Reigns, but definitely that for William Regal. And you have Karrion Kross for the third time in 4 weeks gets absolutely ethered, destroyed by someone else on the microphone. Why do you keep trotting your champion out only to get chewed up by somebody way better than that? And I'm so glad Joe is back, because this is the Joe we want. I didn't like Joe on commentary as it went on, but I think Joe being an enforcer is what this brand needs.
I think it's fantastic, and I think that I always give William Regal a hard time, and sometimes it's hard to admit when you're wrong, but I'm glad he did and said, "Jack, I'm going to listen to you. And I'm going to get someone to help me enforce what's going on here and bring some order to all the chaos." And I love that Joe is the assistant to the general manager, very Dwight Schrute of him. But it's amazing. And there was a moment backstage later in the show when Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory come in, and they're just like, "Joe, Joe, Joe, Joe." And I was thinking, that's all of us. You can feel however you want about Johnny Gargano, but that scene with Joe, that was all of us. And even when he's like, "Get out," we're like, yeah, okay, I'll get out.
Yeah.
That Johnny Gargano, again, whether you love him or hate him, that was all of us. Joe coming back, just dancing around. Joe,
popping. He's like, "Cuckoo bananas," right? He's like, "Get out." He's like, "Oh, well, I thought you agree with me." You know who doesn't agree with Adam Cole got put to bed night. What? Let's talk about that for a second.
That was such a cool moment just to really emphasize that, yeah, he will wreck people. I love that moment. And the fact that, so we're going to get Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole too, I'm sure we'll discuss, but that was one of the lines of the night. He chokes out Adam Cole and he says, when he wakes up, William Regal's going to want an answer.
Yeah.
What a boss move. Just choke someone out and be like, I'm not waiting for him to get up, but when he does wake up, he needs to answer the question.
It was one of those things when I was like, oh, no one goes to sleep that quickly. And I was like, well, it is Joe.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised his head's still attached to his shoulders after that.
When it gets reattached, let him know. But let's talk about it now. Cole and Kyle, too. I mean, cool Kyle definitely has a score to settle. Some might say it's a side quest in a kind of way. Thoughts about that?
I think it's fine. I think it's good. I think it'd be more spicy to see them match up with guys we've never seen a match up with before, but these guys have great chemistry. They put on great matches. It's going to be a fun match. It's going to be fun to watch. I am team Adam Cole, baby. I think he's one of the best NXT has ever had. And I think if you're going to make a Mount Rushmore of NXT, whoever's head is the biggest is Adam Cole's. I don't know. I should probably know this stuff. But I think George Washington, he's the George Washington of the...
Wait, is Devlin right? Do we suck? I don't know. Wait, who's the biggest head?
I'll say he's not wrong.
Word.
David
says, I popped during business meeting on Tuesday. I saw Joe return, about to get fired. Yo, that's better ways to go out, man. Why not?
Yeah. But I think they're going to have a great match. There's some stuff going on with Kyle O'Reilly, though, that has me a little concerned about where his head is at on this episode.
A little concerned.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I'm worried I'm going to jump all over this show.
Jump all over the show,
baby.
There's no script.
Jump around. Yeah, he's got a match with Adam Cole, one of his fiercest rivals, one of the most dangerous men in all of NXT history, one of the guys that is probably in his head the most. And what is Kyle O'Reilly doing? He's challenging Kushida to a match. He's watching these other matches. Kyle, you got to get your head in the game, man. This is why he was best with the Undisputed Era, because you had guys like Adam Cole to say, what are you doing? Get your head in the game. What are you doing watching Kushida? What are you doing hanging out at ringside? Get ready for your match. It's going to be one of the toughest matches you've ever had in your life. And here you are hanging out with Kushida, trying to challenge him to something. Dude, you need to be getting ready for this match.
So to be fair, the match that Cole and O'Reilly are having is in 3 weeks at the Great American Bash, and they've been asked to pick their opponents, right? So they have to fight somebody. But what I do think is really weird, and to your point, Jack, is why go over the person who's arguably the hottest competitor right now and say, I'm challenging you? That's dumb. Pick Austin Gray or something, bro. Just take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah, just go find someone that is in the performance center working out that's never been on TV before and be like, you're the one that I know isn't going to win the match, the one that's not going to beat me up. You know why? Yeah, why? It's not about testing yourself. It's about winning matches, Flobo. That's what I'm saying here. I mean, I actually do love the idea of Kyle O'Reilly in the cruiserweight division. I think him and Kushida are going to have an awesome match. I think that's going to be really, really fun. But just as a strategist, I'm always trying to think a few steps ahead here. I just don't think it's the smartest move to be challenging a guy who's going to put your arm in a hoverboard lock and maybe mess it all up right before you get into a match where anything could happen against Adam Cole, baby.
You're absolutely right. But speaking of people who might be doing things that are just a little bit scoundrelly, your boy, L.A. Knight, the new $1 million champion. This whole story took a turn for the worse, and I guess has taken the title from Tian Sha as the storyline with the most questions I have after a segment beat. LA Knight has gone rogue with the Rogue Championship, and Ted DiBiase, who is still sold like a champ in his advanced age, and got knocked on his fanny until Cameron Grimes made the save. Jack Farmer, I always ask you this, but what just happened?
This was so well done. I talked about Attitude Era earlier. This is Attitude Era to a T, baby. I love this. By the way, how lucky was LA Knight getting to the arena just as he was needed at ringside? Am I right?
Am I right? That is Attitude Era.
Just barely making it on time, making it right to the ring just in time. kind of great promo, really explaining how valuable that $1 million championship is. And so if people who don't know about how important it is, show, yeah, people, it is important. If you watched wrestling back in the day, it is a big deal. Some great names have held it. And then when he attacked Ted DiBiase, Flobo, that raises the stakes. That makes things interesting. I have to think that right now, LA Knight is public enemy number one to the people watching it. But then when Cameron Grimes came out, I have to think, and Flobo, let me ask you this. Is Cameron Grimes the most beloved wrestler in NXT right now? Nay, is Cameron Grimes the most beloved wrestler in WWE right now?
I'm inclined to agree, but this begs the question. Am I rooting for the rich billionaires in the situation? Do I relate to them more? No, Jack, I don't. Guy, I'm just saying, like, it's a weird turn. You're right. There's no one more beloved than those people, for sure. LA Knight's on road. It's a whole new story, which I'm glad he won. But it's like, I feel weird because they were just rivals a month ago. Am I supposed to be like, oh, well, LA Knight's more dastardly because he hit an old man? Is that why we're switching over?
Are you saying you don't think hitting an old man makes you a bad person?
I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely called it.
So, I mean, tell me how badly this has played out just pitch perfect, Flobo. Like, we go into the match, the ladder match, wondering what's going to happen. But now I don't think there is a soul that doesn't want to see Cameron Grimes just stomp LA Knight and get revenge. This is exactly what we want. This is exactly what pro wrestling is. I'm so loving this storyline, and it's almost hard to watch it as an analyst because I want to sit back and watch it as a fan. I just want to sit back, like, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the show. It's so fun.
How does this all end? You're talking another ladder match, another stipulation? What do you think?
I think it can't be another ladder match, but I have a feeling we're going to get 2 more matches out of this. I think we're going to get probably some kind of regular match next, and then maybe we get like the heavy third match, the one that is the like the last man standing, or the zombie lumberjacks, or the cage.
Finally. Laz, what about Ted DiBiase Jr. returning? That might be cool to bump the storyline a bit. Thoughts about that?
Is he getting ready to return? Is he trying to return? I don't know anything about. I don't know if he's actually looking to return in any way. So maybe, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But right now, I think the stars of this are Cameron Grimes and LA Knight. I would be concerned that if Ted DiBiase Jr. came back, he would sort of scoop all the interest and sort of take everything that these other guys have been working so hard for. But I mean, I liked him when he was around before, so I'd be happy for him to come back.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much retired, but I guess there's always that like storyline like, they bring like old family members. Dad, that's why I got out. What are you doing? Kind of a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our main event tonight. Tornado tag match rules. GYV against Thatcher and Ciampa, which I'm going to mess it up a bunch of times. The match itself was pretty solid. Main event status, okay, I'm with it. But it turns out Thatcher and Ciampa are again on top, if you will. GYV eating another loss in the main event on Tuesday night. And then, well, I ask this question every time they go out there, Jack, but is GYV pretty much done as being considered serious threats?
Yeah, this was so from a wrestling standpoint, from as you're watching a show, this was a fantastic main event. It was hard hitting. It was fast paced. It was everything you're going to want from these 2 guys, or these 4 guys. They delivered on every level. Now, you and I, we're both GYV guys. So I think from a personal standpoint, it was a bummer because our guys took the big L. But I think seeing Tommaso Ciampa and Thatcher go after those titles, go after MSK, I think that's going to be a really amazing thing to watch. I think it'll be MSK's first real defense. Now, I know they've defended against some tough competition already, but you know how it is. There's always that one defense that sort of defines what a title run looks like. And if they're able to stand up against Toothless Timmy and Tommaso Ciampa, then I think that's going to make this reign just a little different than what it's ever been before. So I'm here for it. I think it's going to be fun. And I don't know what GYV does next. I don't know if they go back to the drawing board. I don't know if they try to find some unranked tag teams to get some momentum back. I don't know if they go back to UK. I don't know if they go to the main roster. I think they would fit in just perfectly on Raw, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think that brand could use a tag team like them. I think they have the style, they have the mic skills, they have the look to really be good on Raw. Now, I believe we have a draft coming up, so that might not be accurate by the time everything plays out. But I think they'd fit in good on Raw right now if they were to make a change of scenery.
I want to give a shout out to Dudettes. What up? Thanks for coming on the stream, that Twitch side. Yes, it is my birthday week. Yes, I'm going to be, well, next week. So 8 days from now, a week from tomorrow. So not quite my birthday week, but it's coming, man. It's coming.
Poggers.
We're old. That proves we're old. Moving on, we had a little bit of a tag team action on the women's side. Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter taking on Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez. A lot of case sounds there. I apologize. The match to me wasn't much in doubt. Kai and Gonzalez gets the win, but the internet's been blowing up, if you will, about the improvement of Kaden Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Jack Farmer, thoughts about this match here?
Caden and Casey, they just can't keep themselves from, I'm not trying to do the alliteration. Caden and Casey just can't keep themselves from running into buzzsaws here, can they? Whether they're running into Tian Shaw or Raquel Gonzalez, just a rough go of it every time they seem to team up. But good on them for picking themselves back up and getting back out there and bringing it. And yeah, the internet's right on this one. They have been so amazing. Or they were so amazing in this match. They did so many big things. The fact that they made this as competitive as it was, and you say the result was never in question. When it started, I felt that way, but there was a point during the match where I was like, I don't know, maybe these two are going to make something happen. They did a great job.
Wait, hold on, Jack. I do this for you because you always say if Raquel Gonzalez in a match, she can win it by herself. There's never a doubt. She's the most dominant person ever. And as soon as they give you that rope, you go, well, you know hard to say. I don't know.
Look, you're right. Raquel could have won this whole thing on her own, but she had a tag team partner. So there was some stuff going on. Look, no shot at Dakota Kai, but I don't know. Maybe this is the first time I've noticed, but my big question, the thing that was really looming and the reason I was kind of worried, they have different theme music now. Do they always do that? Do they always come out to separate music?
I think they did. It's like a mashup type deal for sure.
But
or I think recently, once she became champion, I should say they came out
because Dakota Kai came out to her own music, and then it changed for Raquel when she came out this time.
Yeah.
Which makes me worry about the long-term strength of this team. If they're already separating the entrance music, if they're together anyways, so. I don't know. That is a little worrisome to me. And that's why I was like, I don't know. This might not go the way they think they will. But I think the coolest part about this Flobo that I like to notice is that we had a women's tag team match against two top tag teams. And it wasn't for the title. And it wasn't really even necessarily specifically title adjacent. It was just a women's tag team match against two top teams. I think that's great.
That's the evolution in motion and in effect. So Cabello says, how hasn't Raquel turned her back on Dakota yet? Don't you guys think it's time for Dakota to be the face again? Jack?
I would say, why would Raquel turn on Dakota? Raquel has nothing to gain by getting rid of Dakota. She's the champion already. She's the star of the show. She's the biggest deal in the women's division. If she has someone like Dakota at ringside helping her out, it doesn't do her any favors to get rid of her.
I'm inclined to agree, unless it's one of those things where it's like, I don't need you anymore, but that'd be kind of a hard sell because you basically tagged for like 2 months after you won the title. So if anything, it would be Dakota Kai to turn on Raquel Gonzalez, and I'm cool with that too. Point,
which could happen. I mean, I'm always going to be for someone doing whatever they can to get that title. That's what you're in wrestling for, is to be the champion. I don't think it'd be the smartest move because I don't think anyone's beaten Raquel Gonzalez. So I don't think it would work out, but I would understand the move.
You would understand the move. That's all I need, man. As long as Jack understands the move, we're good.
Yeah, that's as close as we're going to get to agreeing.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. But let's talk about this NXT women's division. It kind of struck me in this matchup like, well, there's nothing really much happening with Raquel solo. I mean, is that a problem, or does that help out the tag team division, have the NXT Women's Champion, the tag team match?
Listen, when you're Raquel Gonzalez, it doesn't matter what the women's division's doing. You do what you want. And if she wants to hang out and try to get some tag team title wins, I think she wants to be, Undisputed Era, they did this cool thing. They called themselves Draped in Gold. It's what the show's named after, where every member of the team had gold. Raquel Gonzalez is saying, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to individually be draped in gold, and I'm going to have all the titles myself. And I think she could do it.
Wow. Kenny Omega's into the chat. Question about after the tag team match, after seeing the main event. More or less tornado tags?
I like tornado tags. I think they're fun. I think they just add a lot of unpredictability and they keep things moving. I wouldn't pound the table for them. I wouldn't say you need these. They have to happen. But I think they're fun to see. I know I like to usually play that way when I'm playing WWE 2K. I like tornado tag, elimination style for whatever it's worth. But I like them. I'd be okay if there was more of them, but if we don't do more of them, I'm okay with that too.
Oh yeah, let's check that out. I only do the individual elimination tags. I haven't done the tornado tags in the game, so. But, So moving on. Also, we talked earlier about Kyle O'Reilly's picking out Kushida, but the reason why Kyle O'Reilly picked out Kushida is because Kushida had a match, CW Open Challenge against Trey Baxter, and the match itself was pretty good. I actually liked it. I want to see more of Trey. I hope it doesn't disappear at all. Kushida getting the win, hard fought, but Kyle O'Reilly's hanging inside. So let's talk about the match itself. Jack Farmer, the Kushida Cruiserweight Open Challenge, on board, or do you want to see something more storyline based?
No, this is exactly what makes a open challenge great, by the way, is you get these new competitors, these people who we probably wouldn't see otherwise, getting a big opportunity in a big spot. And as the defenses add up, it just adds prestige to that title. So then speaking of the people who come out and challenge for the title, Trey Baxter, you're right. Amazing. Did a great job. People who watch other wrestling companies know who he is. So they weren't probably too surprised at him really lighting it up. But if you're someone who sticks to just the shade underneath the umbrella of WWE, which is a comfy place to be, don't get me wrong, it's still like it's a chance to see someone again in a big spot. If let's be honest, we're all a little jaded as wrestling fans. If we saw Trey Baxter versus some guy we'd never heard of, it wouldn't have had the same punch, him winning. It wouldn't have felt the same. But him going out there and lighting it up against a guy who's traveled time and space to become the Cruiserweight champion and get, and just hang in there, I think says a lot about the guy. And I think now a lot of us are going to say next time he comes out, I'm going to expect a win, even though he got the L today.
That's definitely true. And I like to see more of that. Even Carmelo Hayes, too, as well. Another person in the Cruiserweight Open Challenge, if you will. I like open challenges. They are great. But I also think that Kushida is ready for another story as well. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky. Maybe I'm just being that kind of wrestling fan who wants too much of things, or cake and eat it too, or whatever. But maybe, I don't know. Give me something.
I like open challenges. I think they're fun, especially for a title like the Cruiserweight title, where the beauty of the Cruiserweight title is that it's fast-paced action, not that it's in-depth storytelling. I mean, it can be, but at the end of the day, what makes it fun and what its real legacy is, going all the way back to WCW, is let's put two guys in there that have incredible cardio and are just going to go full speed, nonstop, and just give us an action-packed, awesome thrill ride of a show, and then move on to the next guy. I think it's great. I think it works perfectly, especially in the Cruiserweight division.
Let's talk about action-packed guys with cardio. Our opening contest was actually the tag team division once more. Brezango taking on Imperium in a match where I had on my scorecard already to go that Imperium was going to win this one, but it wasn't true. Brezango has a little bit more life in them as a tag team because of the years of chemistry they have in them, but they paid the ultimate price. Well, not the ultimate price. They're still alive. But Tyler Breeze gets draped in the Imperium flag. Jack Farmer, what does it all mean?
I think it's just evidence that lightning can strike at any time, and you never know. Anything can happen in wrestling, and that's what's crazy. Now, look, I think if these guys had 10 matches, that Imperium would win 9 of the 10. That's why in basketball you do best of 7 series. That's why in baseball you have series. That's why in hockey you have series. It's because sometimes flukes happen, and they want to make sure the real champions get the win. This time, there was a fluke. This time, the wrong team won, and I don't think Imperium necessarily isn't the better team. I think they proved they're the better team by just wrecking Brezango after the match. And hey, for everything that Brezango wears and all their crazy outfits, I thought they never looked better draped in an Imperium flag. I think that was the best outfit they've ever had on.
Oh, that is cold, bro. I mean, it looked like they were being hauled off to like a funeral. And we're still talking about whether or not Imperium's going to expand, and if so, how. I'm not saying this is how you mark your territory, but I mean, is that the best recruitment poster I've ever seen, or what?
I mean, I think it's a great recruitment poster, and I think anyone who's smart is going to look at that and say, maybe I need to change my ways. Maybe I need to join Imperium. I was actually thinking Brezango, if they quit spending so much time thinking about new outfits and kept thinking about how they could respect the ring, how to be more serious, how to be more methodical, and get rid of all the silliness, they could be dynamite additions to Imperium. I think they would fit in splendidly with those guys. Unfortunately, I feel like maybe they're just too full of themselves, their silly little outfits. But as it is, that's where they are. But I hope Imperium gets some people to join them. I think right now the biggest issue with Imperium is their leader isn't there. I think once Walter shows up, everyone's shaping up.
True. Galactus style. David says, love to see Brezango infiltrate Imperium or tag team champs. Yeah, why not? I think Brezango is always pretty solid. I mean, you really forget when Tyler Breeze came back single. It was like, wow, Tyler Breeze is back. He's 5 stars. And, well, I'm not saying Brezango is holding each other back, but they're not really considered much of a threat, and I don't think it's fair to them.
Yeah, I think when you are, again, you spend so much time worrying about wearing spaceman outfits, you're never going to be as your win-loss record is never going to look the same as the guys who want to compete and win, and especially in NXT where you have some of the most ruthless competitors in all of pro wrestling. So, hey, they'll win the best entrance attire award every year. They got a fluke win this week, but Imperium will get back on track, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, Jack, it's that time again where I was watching NXT and I wrote some things down. I got some burning questions, sir. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Now, question number 1. What is up with that recharging battery promo?
My guess, it is the return of Tegan Knox.
Oh, I like it. Because of the whole lightning bolt. Okay, yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I actually talked about this at the beginning of the show. Why does Karrion Kross keep coming out if he's going to get schooled on the microphone?
You got to get those reps in, baby. That's how you get better.
I've also accepted he's a champ. He has to, but yes. Hey, Jack Farmer, Diamond Mine opens next week. Excited or not?
I am excited. My prediction is a lot of people have been saying Tessa Blanchard because of the diamond thing. I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to guess that it's going to be the debut of a tag team, one we've never seen before, but they are going to change the world of professional wrestling over the course of their careers. I think it's going to be the debut of Bronson Steiner and Parker Bordeaux. I hope I'm saying that right. Their name's right, but I think it's going to be those two.
If he's right, Jack called it. We can
again totally random guess. I have no. This was me before the show going like I knew that would be a question. It was me scrolling through.
It's totally predictable. It's fine.
Yeah.
What is the deal with Frankie Monet? Encore performance of a world premiere, breaking up Robert Stone brand. What?
I am a big Robert Stone fan. I eat Robert Stone brand muffins for breakfast to get myself going. I like these guys, but Robert Stone needs to be very careful because right now Frankie Monet is driving that wedge, and with the win-loss record that team has, it's hard not to think if I can get all the style and pizzazz and the razzle-dazzle of a Frankie Monet and get some wins, what do I have Robert Stone around for?
Snap. True or false? Mercedes Martinez is single-handedly keeping this side of the Tion feud interesting.
Technically, she's the only one on this side of the feud, right? So
as opposed to what it is, we haven't figured that part out.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, she is, and she's someone who's always going to be interesting. This is why being such a legit person is so important in this business, is because when you are that intimidating and that dangerous, anything you do is going to be interesting. And I mean, when you've got something as mysterious as Tion Shaw on the other side, of course.
Yeah. Everrise seems like the most AEW thing in NXT. Am I crazy?
I don't like that you phrased it that way because I was gonna say I'm a huge fan of Hit Row. I like their music. No. Hear me out. I was gonna say I like Hit Row. I love their music. I love the people who are in the group. I love everything they stand for. But they messed with the wrong group this time, Flobo. I'm Team Everrise. I love those guys. I am going to ride and die with Everrise. And
wow,
Everrise lives, baby. I can't wait to see them do whatever they're going to do next. Master Craftsman as well. Did you see what they did to that house? Amazing.
Yeah. Sidebar. David Minnie asked the last time a person with a chip with a mullet. I think it was Guerrero, wasn't it? Wasn't it Eddie Guerrero, to my knowledge?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think so. With like, at least with like a, not counting like Bronson Reed, you know, like that kind of.
Oh yeah, but I don't count that.
I don't know if it's I think it's a technicality, but I don't think it is the in the heart of what a mullet is, if that makes sense.
There's no soul in that mullet, man. It's all Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
I got three more for you.
Okay.
Why does Candice LeRae always stick her nose where she doesn't belong?
She's trying to make sure that the brand in NXT doesn't, you know, you have you ever seen a neighborhood just go downhill? Candice LeRae is that neighbor that makes sure that doesn't happen to NXT.
That's even worse.
She's looking out to make sure that riffraff doesn't get involved and just ruin the name of NXT. I think she's doing the Lord's work. It's great.
Oh my God. Why is Johnny Gargano suck up to Samoa Joe when he can easily choke him out?
He's sucking up to Samoa Joe because he can easily choke him out.
Fair. And finally, okay, Jack Farmer. I actually like Santos Escobar's suit this week. Is he the most consistently best dressed in the brand?
Yes, by a mile, maybe in all pro wrestling. I think his stuff is not only cool, but it's always very different. And I think a lot of people who we call the best dressed, like I think Robert Stone, we mentioned him earlier, is one of the guys you'd say is the best dressed. But there's always a theme and a style that is kind of similar. Where, yes, Santos has a theme, but they're wildly different looks. It's not like he got them all at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as a guy that has 47 suits, do you think he just uses it once and throw them away, or is it a deep rotation? We'll get back to it later.
I think that when you have the kind of style Santos Escobar does, that people send him suits to wear.
Whoa, that must be nice. Or else I'd be doing the JCPenney specials. You know, that's how I get down.
They kind of alluded to it, actually, though, Pretty Deadly, when they were saying that they were getting those kind of suits, and they paid someone to tie their shoes for them, which is pretty cool. Right now, I have someone that ties my shoes for me, but they're doing it for exposure, so it's not.
That is such an LA thing to say, though. Hey, man, you want to be in movies? Well, I can't help you, but in the meantime, can you tie my shoes? We'll talk about it. Rico Draped in Gold, drapedingold.com. But it's almost time to get out of here, but it's now time for my favorite part of the show. It's time for the MVP of NXT, and that's a person that really sticks out for you on either brands, and we have a bit of a gentleman's agreement. We can't pick Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe is S tier, getting all involved on Tuesday night. So you can't pick Samoa Joe. Who stuck out for you most, Jack?
The Samoa Joe thing might have to be a running rule, by the way. I feel like he's going to be the number one person for a while now.
True.
I was going to say LA Knight because he took himself to the next level of what he did, but no, the person who was the best this week, the person who stands out to me, if I can't say Samoa Joe, someone we didn't even talk about, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is the number one guy. And you know why, Flobo? He was the one person all night, including Karrion Kross, that stood toe-to-toe with Samoa Joe and didn't budge an inch. And even Samoa Joe had no words for Pete Dunne. Now, it was a stalemate. He didn't get one up on Samoa Joe, but on a night like tonight, and maybe every night with Samoa Joe, if you break even with Samoa Joe, you're the MVP.
Is that fair? Because Samoa Joe can't do anything unless he's provoked.
I would say Pete Dunne in the room is provoking.
I had to hit him, officer. He He just showed up. I was actually going to go with LA Knight for the same reason you thought. This $1 million championship, we saw him beat Cameron Grimes. I knew I would have bet the house on, if I had one, it's probably why I rent, that he was going to roll with Ted DiBiase and say thanks for everything. Of course, he telegraphed it with his extended promo, but when it happened, it was still much of a shock. This changes everything, and now we got to see old money team with new money to take down the working class guy. You got a little bit of a come up. So props.
I love it when money comes together to take care of the working class. It's just
oh my God.
If these guys could sing, it would be a Disney movie.
Your shoelace guy is going to be like, what?
I know.
I'm never getting paid doing this?
Hey, why are my shoes tied together?
Hashtag Velcro gang. Jack, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you. And I say that because we're on camera. Usually I hate hanging with you. But if anyone wanted to follow you and see what projects you're working on before we get out, let them know. Let them go. Let them follow you, bro.
Yeah, speaking of exposure, you can follow me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media, where I just do all the talking, I guess. You can find me at Wrestling Inc. for the Raw After Show. You can check me out on Anytime Radio, counting down the top songs of the week. You can check me out doing Elite of the Week, Power Ranking AEW. You can also check me out in the Everything Tournament, and you can check me out on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood every single weekend. As mentioned earlier in the show, by the way, check me out on the Wrestling War Room with James Kincaid, another guy from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, where we break down everything that happened at In Your House.
James Kincaid's good people. So we should collaborate more often. But it's Draped in Gold, drapedingold.com, part of the New Amsterdam Network. Learn more about that at KNEW Amsterdam.com. I'm Flobo Boyce. You can follow me at Flobo Boyce on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, you can book me in Southern California by hitting up that flobito.com. That's FLOBITO.com. But we'll be back next week to chat more red and black and gold action. Jack Farmer, until next time, say the words.
Do your best and be yourself.